what do you think of the cult following that y'all have gained in just one season, not just from fans of the books and the original movie, but the new ones?
It's great. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's always wonderful to be in things that people watch and want to see and want to talk about. I think it's just we pinch ourselves daily. Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's lovely to be, yeah, to be a part of something that people care about as well.
Yeah.
Like that. People actually take into their
Yeah.
hearts and are like, this means something to me. It's like, you know.
And it's always lovely to meet them too, because we've been so lucky, like, to have people even, travel out to come and see us filming and talk to us, and it's always a pleasure to meet them. And I know some of them are coming even tonight to the screening, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. And some of whom we've met a couple of times. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. I'm really obsessed with like the internet reaction to the show. I think it's just so funny. I wondered like specifically, Jacob, if you I know the the you holding up the colored only no whites allowed sign has become a meme that I'm seeing all over the place. I wondered what you thought of that becoming a meme, or if any other funny online moments have happened that stick out to y'all.
I love that. I love that. I mean, obviously, there's some irony attached to it because the nut is in there. He's in there.
I think he owns.
He ain't white. He's French. But, no, but it's amazing. That's like my favorite kind of like engagement with it. That when people are just like can. It's like a different kind of like taking something into their heart, or somebody's like can use it to help other people relate to a feeling or something they want to express. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of memes and GIFs. I love them. I prefer them to words.
We sometimes have whole conversations with GIFs.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's one. Actually, no. What you know the one I mean.
Yeah.
We like talked about like the inevitable like vampire Avengers. Well, not inevitable, but that would be cool. And it's that guy that's like summoning the earth and the rains and the fire. And I often bring
what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're referring to, but I need to find this GIF now.
He's sort of dancing, and then someone's given him fire hands and like wind, and
yeah. But
like, splashes of water.
I like to imagine that he actually did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. But yeah, cool. The no whites allowed, colored only sign is great.
So funny. We're heading into season 2, which I've seen a couple episodes. What would y'all say to viewers who are nervous about the recasting of Claudia?
Don't be
nervous.
Delaney is incredible. Yeah, it's kind of as simple as that. Like you will fall in love with her immediately, and she's done her own thing, but it's so the character. Yeah, she just has this like, for one, as a person, like Delaney is fearless. Like she just started on day one. She had some like hard stuff to do. Her first week was nuts, and she just like took it completely in stride and with complete like confidence and commitment. But like Claudia herself, seeing the way that Europe affects that character and how this new dynamic with the theatre vampires and with Madeline and Louis, like she just does something with it that is really clever, and you really feel that dichotomy between the age of her body and the age of her mind which is amazing. So I'd say don't worry.
Yeah, my worry went away so fast as soon as I started watching. You both bring the drama to your lines. I still say I saw your hearts dancing in that scream voice because I think it's just so funny, so iconic. How are those acting choices made? Like, because I'm imagining you reading it on the script, and then is this just the image you had in your head of Let's start. Like
Did you
how?
need to do
How do you do? What do you do? I would say that, like, what we do try it a bunch of different ways a lot of the time.
Mhm.
But these scripts are very beautifully written with a lot of thought, a lot of care in them, and a lot of capital letters and exclamation marks.
Yeah.
So, like, I Heard Your Heart's Dancing was written in all caps, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Well, so, you see that on a page and you're like, okay. Like, if this is what you want, this is what you're gonna get. So,
Yeah. It's not how I thought that scene was gonna go at the beginning of the day. I'm quite a contrarian. Like, I read a script and I'm like, no, I see that it's capitalized. I'm gonna say it quietly. And but then if I did that, then I wouldn't really be listening to Sam. You can't really respond to I Heard Your Heart's Dancing with like, oh.
I remember that day though, because we did it, and that's how I did it first. That way, and then we showed it again, and then I went over to the director, Keith Powell, and I was like, "Hey, do you want me to do it a different way?" And he was like, "No."
There's a scene in season 2 where Rollin said to me, they'd done the first cut. You know about this, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Newsflash. He was like, I just want you to watch this scene that we've just cut it together. I just want to make sure that you know what I want to use because it's a swing. He was like, this would be your I Heard Your Heart's Dancing of season 2. And and it's in there. It's in episode 1. Actually.
Yeah, Louis definitely in this season. Louis, you're using all caps quite a lot.
Yeah, exactly. You had to go through it. Louis is going through it.
Yeah,
particularly in Dubai, he's really going through it. There's a lot of internal exclamation marks and capital letters.
Yeah. You can see it behind his eyes for sure. I really wondered, especially for you, Sam, but both of y'all, because the accent work is insanely good. And I just wondered how you both got into, like, I'm assuming you're working with coaches, and how does that thought process work behind the scenes, just I don't know, committing and like nailing it so hard. Like, I truly believe, Jacob, that you're in the like 1900s New Orleans. Like it's so cool. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, you're going to say something.
Well, I was going to say last season we didn't really have that much dialect coaching. We had a bit. Not that much.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't really have that much. So last season, it was a bit more rough and ready, and we were sort of kind of winging it a bit. This season, we have a dialect coach that come on to the show, the wonderful Marina Tyndall, and had a fantastic French teacher, because so much French in the show, because so many people speak French. So we had a wonderful French teacher, Guillaume, who, like, just spent so much time helping us with French. And yeah, so we were really supported this season, particularly season 2. There was like, we had a lot of support. Yeah, and so you could be more, you could try things that you couldn't necessarily try.
Yeah, you feel safe.
You feel
like
safe.
Even obviously everything. I guess for us, a lot of things were established. But like, I loved it. Like, week 1, Marina was like, okay, we should talk about Dubai because there's some inconsistencies, and I want to like tighten those things so they're choices. And that was really, that was really helpful.
I think also the joy of playing a vampire is when you live for so long, you can kind of, the accent can morph a bit. You can change about where you are, where you're from. Like when we were talking about in the first season, like, Lestat's learned English. Like, where did he learn English? In the books, he's learned it from like the oarsmen that he's gotten. And Anne Rice says he speaks like Sam Spade, which I found kind of hard to work out how to do. But so he had a sort of Englishy sound. We decided, because he'd learned English in England, he had an English sound, and the longer he spends in America, it becomes more Americanized. And then this season we've gone back to France, and so obviously you're going to become more French because you go back to France, and so you
Mhm.
can sound more French there. But then like he comes back and he's been spent more time in America, so you can sound more American. And I know that Assad did the same thing, where he's sort of like kind of come from all of these different places, and then towards the end of it, he's sort of got this sort of international school sounding.
Mhm.
It's like it's really it's a fun thing. You don't get to do that with many other characters, to
Yeah.
change the way you speak, because not many characters live forever.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a joy. Yeah.
And then my last question for y'all before I let you go, just is there one scene, without spoiling too much, is there a scene for both of you, honestly, that you're really looking forward for people to see or that you just had the most fun filming?
Yeah, there's one scene that like it wasn't the most fun thing to film for a variety of reasons, but it's like it's my favorite scene in the in the show. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, but you can say it.
Yeah, this franchise has a huge cult following. What was that like for you just to kind of step into the legacy of the character Armand? And what were you most excited to play with in the role?
What going into something that has such a massive cult following was terrifying, I think, as you might imagine. But I've got to say, I have been so overwhelmed by the kind of support and encouragement from this incredible fan base. It's been quite, yeah, it's been quite overwhelming. I didn't really expect it. So yeah, I think very quickly those sort of that pressure was lifted, and I'm really grateful to the community of fans for that. Yeah, it was really great. Um, Going into playing Armand, I mean, everything about him is just such a joy. There's so much to play, there's so much to do, there's so much to explore and also mess up. Like I really enjoy sort of that unknown nature, like messing up and sort of going, I don't think I can do this, but I am doing it. So yeah, when you don't have a choice, it's like you have to enjoy it. And yeah, this has been an absolute joy. I've loved it. I've loved every moment.
Yeah. What was the shift like, or I guess more like okay, because you knew the twist was coming at the end of season one. What was it like to see the fan reaction knowing what was about to happen? Or no, or maybe like in the moment when the fans were reacting. How was
Yeah, yeah.
it for you?
I was under strict rule to keep everything, first of all, to keep quiet as Rashid and not sort of shout about it on social media or anything like that. And, I was fine with doing that. But um, I will say I told my family straight away. I was like, I've got to sort of lift the weight somehow. Someone has to take this because this is like painful. But I was following season one like a fan. I watched season one like a fan, and it was actually really liberating that I was able to do that. And I'm really glad that I was kept away from sort of pretty much all promo and sort of obligations to sort of do stuff, so I could just enjoy the show. And I love the show. I love season one. Just as a spectator, objectively, I can say it's absolutely one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. And so I kind of, when it got to the last episode, I almost forgot that this reveal was coming, and then suddenly it happened, and I was, now I'm gonna sort of have to see. And I did follow Twitter and see sort of the reaction, and again, like I said to you, like it was overwhelmingly encouraging and supportive, and I was, yeah, I was scared, but then I was very quickly alleviated. And yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool. It was cool.
it's so fun to watch and follow along with as a fan for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, I haven't felt that in a minute. Um, what were I always wonder like the accent work. So your character is also in Paris in the season. Um,
Mm.
the dialects, the accents, what goes behind that? Because they feel so authentic and so real to the time. And it's just so cool to watch.
Thank you. That means a lot for you to say that. Thank you very much. Also language as well. I had to learn
Yeah,
French.
yeah,
It was fun. It was accents in general are something that really terrify me. But I knew that I had to sort of what I knew that I think the choice to sort of bring the French accent in Paris was something I consciously thought. I wondered, would it jar with how we see him in Dubai, because he doesn't have the accent in Dubai. But I think Armand is a character that has his history shows, if we know him from the books, that he's had to do a lot of changing of himself to adapt and survive, and that's kind of brought a chameleon-like quality to him. And I think he's someone who picks and drops physicalities and vocal attributes and you know, lifestyle choices, and then anything to keep himself alive he's had to do. And I think this carries into when we see him. So it was something that I knew that we wanted to explore, and Roland and I talked about it. And then very early on, after season one, I started learning French with a French teacher called Anaïs, who's amazing. And she gave me like a big crash course, because we had about 8 months before we started shooting. So it was a real crash course in like sort of basics of French. And then when we got the scripts, I could sort of delve into them and work on the accent and try to make him sound sort of as fluent as possible. I think I had an advantage knowing that Armand isn't native French, so there's some leeway there, which isn't a cop out, but it meant that I could sort of be as fluent as I could be without the pressure of, he's French, but why does he not speak like a Frenchman?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you really learned French. That's so cool.
I'm still learning. I'm still
Yeah.
learning. It's so hard. It's the
Yeah,
hardest thing I've ever done, but I really love it, because I've started now. I can't just
yeah. Now that
throw it away. I've got to
the
carry on.
foundation's there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
What are the mechanics of the floating? Is that like what's that like?
Horrible.
That
Horrible. You don't want to know. No one wants to know. Let's just keep the floating to, to the screen, to the
the
imagination. It's
mystery of it.
amazing. It looks really cool, but the actual mechanics, no one wants to know. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm in a harness that goes around your like thighs and then your waist, and then there's a couple of points, like 3 points of kind of contact to distribute the weight, but it's very safe, but not super comfortable when you're having to dangle there. Also, the way Armand dangles, he's got to look elegant.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's really difficult to look elegant or feel elegant when you're like sort of got this thing around your crotch that's trying to pull your legs apart, and you're trying to keep them together. So,
yeah.
but yeah, it's fun. It's
Well,
fun.
you're pulling it off for sure.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah. I read online that you're primarily a theater actor, which I actually probably should have looked up to see if that was true. But in season two, it's also funny because when you're in Paris, a good chunk of your lines and the scenes are in a theater. I just wondered what the differences were like between theater acting and acting for television, and if that was kind of funny being, in a theater again.
Yeah, it was like a weird kind of meta experience going into doing the theater scenes, but they're filmed for screen. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like I wouldn't say like I am predominantly a theater actor. It's just, my career was mostly theater before this came along, and I'm so grateful for it, because theater taught me so many things about, just holding space, presence and vocal qualities. And yeah, I cut my teeth in theatre. I learned my craft there, and then bringing a lot of it, I think you can bring into screen acting, and it really helps. So I don't think they're too far apart, but also there's nuance in screen that that you've got to be aware of in a way that I hadn't thought of before. In theatre, you can afford to be bigger, and that makes things a bit more general, whereas camera or screen acting kind of picks it up and picks up detail, and if you don't have the detail there, then there's nothing to pick up. So yeah, so harnessing that kind of that, and I'm quite sort of flaily anyway as a human being. I'm quite sort of bouncy and I had to sort of ground myself and become stiller and find a focus, which was a new interesting way of sort of acting that I really enjoyed doing.
Mm, that's so cool. And then do you think, well, okay, I'll ask you like this. So, this season is so far. I've watched a few episodes, and you really get to see the beginnings of, you know, Louis and Armand's, meet cute cruising in the park, and then
Yeah,
kind of like how their chaotic love story develops.
yeah.
I guess for just my own personal, do you think, I mean, Armand's love or interest in Louis is kind of like involving Lestat? I really feel like there's like a three. I just wondered your thoughts about that. But also, if a more general question, just like a scene that you were really excited about from this season that you just are really excited for fans to see, and you can kind of like tease, you don't have to spoil anything.
Oh, oh my, there's so many scenes that I'm really excited about seeing how the fans take it when they see it. There's so many scenes. I mean, it's all brilliant. I think in general, I am really curious how um the opening of episode 3, we get to look into Armand and Lestat's sort of history a little bit through Armand's eyes, but I think that's going to be really fun to watch for the audience, and that's going to see that context. And then to your other question, yeah, the third, when you when you meet someone that you like, and then you find out that they were with someone else that you liked, it inevitably it brings back that person in some way, even though that person might not physically be there, that the feelings start to come back, and then you wonder what this new relationship is in context of that. And I think it's really hard to see the new relationship as something pure and in and of itself without this other thing overshadowing it. And I think Armand tries for a long time to sort of kind of keep it at bay, but it's inevitable that Lestat is an entity in both their lives, and he's Lestat. He's such a presence. He's not no one. He's Lestat. So you could try and forget him, but there ain't no way you're gonna forget Lestat.
Yeah, he's quite literally haunting everyone in the cast.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited for the season to come out. It's like my favorite show on TV right now. So I'm just so excited. Appreciate your time today. Yeah, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Taylor. Lovely to meet you. Thanks a lot.